Is a gift ever truly free, or always a transaction with a hidden cost? In 1130, following the death of Pope Honorius II during the Crusading era, a schism fractured the Roman Catholic Church between two claimants, Gregorio Papareschi, known as Innocent II, and Pietro Pierleoni, who became the antipope Anacletus II. The latter initially received major support, causing Innocent II to flee Rome and seek refuge in France. Bernard of Clairvaux, the esteemed abbot and key figure in the founding of the Knights Templar, lent his support to Innocent II. After prolonged political strife, the schism was resolved in 1138, securing Innocent's legitimacy. In the aftermath of his restored authority, the Pope reciprocated the support he had received by bestowing economic privileges upon the Templars, benefits that, in psychological terms, often carry an implicit expectation of repayment. Philosophers have persistently challenged the purity of gift-giving, suggesting that even the most benevolent gestures carry transactional undertones. In many cases, the recipient becomes subject to an unspoken debt, a subtle but enduring form of influence. Following the papal grants, the Knights Templar enjoyed immunity from both church tithes and royal taxes. This fiscal autonomy allowed them to engage in commercial ventures and amass a substantial portfolio of real estate, spanning from the western kingdoms of Europe to the contested territories of the Holy Land. Even commoners found avenues to support the order, often by redirecting dues or investing outside local feudal structures. Many years later, the trusted system was doomed to fail, just as a house built on sand cannot stand, once again proving that gifts can cloud sound judgment. Echoing the prophetic caution of Samuel regarding the perils of centralized authority, the Knights Templar, entrusted with both spiritual and military responsibilities, established an advanced financial infrastructure across Europe and the Levant. Their implementation of letters of credit enabled pilgrims to deposit funds in their native regions and retrieve them in Jerusalem, marking a pivotal development in the evolution of international banking. Among the various dynamics shaping Philip IV's rule, a consistent fiscal strategy emerged. In response to the financial strain of warfare against England and Flanders, the king authorized the debasement of currency, melting down silver coins and reissuing them with diminished purity to expand monetary supply. This form of monetary manipulation produced foreseeable economic consequences, most notably inflation. As the metallic content of coinage declined, public confidence in its value eroded, resulting in a sharp rise in the cost of goods and services. In an attempt to mitigate the crisis, the Crown reversed the debasement and imposed price controls, measures that exacerbated unrest and deepened fiscal instability, intensifying the king's financial desperation. As economic pressures mounted, King Philip IV's desperation intensified. He initially reinforced his position by seizing assets from Jewish populations, whose lack of military defense rendered them susceptible, before advancing toward more politically entrenched targets. Following the loss of Acre to the Mamluk Sultanate in 1291, the final Crusader stronghold in the Levant, the Knights Templar entered a period of vulnerability. King Philip IV, burdened by substantial debt to the order, seized upon the opportunity. Over 160 years after Pope Innocent II had conferred exceptional privileges upon the Templars, a dossier, discreetly compiled over decades, catalyzed their downfall. The initial charge was brought forth by a disaffected former member, previously imprisoned alongside a townsman named Esquin of Floiron. Allegations of heresy, supported by confessions and witness accounts, unveiled systemic corruption within the Knights Templar. The gravity of these revelations compelled Pope Clement V to sever ties, attributing the collapse solely to the order and thereby shielding the Church from reproach. For King Philip IV, the suppression of the Templars provided both political advantage and financial relief, as their dissolution enabled the absorption of vast assets and the resolution of his indebtedness. Jacques de Molay, final Grand Master of the Knights Templar, met the stake with solemn defiance. In his final moments, he proclaimed that divine justice would not be delayed. According to multiple accounts, Molay warned that within a year and a day, Clement V and Philip IV would stand before God to answer for their deeds, a prophecy fulfilled with uncanny precision. Within a year of Jacques de Molay's execution, the Pope and the King met their deaths. Clement succumbed to a prolonged illness on 20 April 1314, while Philip died shortly thereafter from a stroke sustained during a hunting expedition. Not every gift is light to the eyes, for the heart that receives without discernment shall stumble, and the mouth that once spoke truth shall twist its words. The righteous are not swayed by silver, nor do they trade justice for favor. Let the holy remain unmoved, lest the gift become a snare and the judgment swift.